Welcome to The Glass Ceiling, the podcast where business leaders share their stories, struggles and triumphs.
There is a lot in that. There's a lot of learning.
We sort of had different views on how the business should be ran.
The next 10 years looks like for South Australia.
Startup's the easiest.
I'm your host, Marissa Hankinson from Wavebreaker, and I'm passionate about amplifying their voices. Join me as we explore the highs and lows of innovation, entrepreneurship and leadership. From founders to CEOs, our guests will share their insights, experiences and advice on how to succeed and make a lasting impact. Get ready for inspiring conversations and valuable lessons. Let's shatter the glass ceiling, one story.
Want your own video podcast? Or just ready to get in front of the right audience?
At Wavebreaker Productions, we specialise in full-service video podcast production and guest appearance and PR services.
We help business owners, experts, and change makers show up with confidence on camera and on the mic.
From filming and editing to distribution and promotion, we handle it all, so you can focus on your message.
Whether you're launching your own show or looking to appear on aligned podcasts, we'll help you get seen, heard, and remembered.
This is more than a podcast. It's your platform.
Helping you be seen, heard, and remembered.
Find out more at wavebreakerproductions.com.
Joining me today is Jane Pappin, a visionary healthcare leader, registered nurse and founder of Pop-Up Health, redefining age and disability care across South Australia. With over 35 years of experience in nursing and leadership, Jane has built a reputation for compassionate community-first care that empowers individuals to live independently and with dignity. Under her leadership, Pop-Up Health has grown from a family-run operation and at the peak was up to a staff of 500, providing services to many South Australians daily. In 2024, the organisation joined the national Lumiere Care Network, expanding its reach while maintaining its local focus. Today, Jane is going to join us in talking about purpose-led leadership, disrupting outdated models, and why aged care is everybody's business. Jane, welcome to The Glass Ceiling. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. We tried to get you previously, and that's okay. But you're here now, and we're going to get into it. So congratulations on Pop-Up Health joining the Lumiere Care Network. But let's go back a little bit. So when did you become a nurse?
I've been a registered nurse since 1982, did the old-fashioned hospital training and then went off and got my degree, based in Adelaide. And I love nursing. I love the mix of nursing and business in health across Australia. So, I love being a nurse.
And were you predominantly public sector?
No, I was a mixture of both, public and private, and some work with local government and state government in amongst all of that as well.
So what became the catalyst for you to go out on your own?
I was working, I've always loved business. My parents ran businesses and it must have just been in my genes, but I was working a late shift at a public hospital in Adelaide one night, and I just felt that the patients weren't having a really good experience on the way out when they're discharged, and quite often they would be returning to the emergency department in the next 2 or 3 days and be readmitted. And I felt that that had something to do with the care that they were receiving at home. So altruistically, I went home that night, resigned, and started Pop-Up Health the very next day, and spent the next 3 years at home getting ready with all the policies and procedures and all the back end.
So that's really scary that you resigned with not necessarily anything to go to. I know that Pop-Up Health came, but usually that's the side hustle and then you stick with the day job.
Yep.
So that was quite a drastic move.
I would say that I'm a risk taker when it comes to something like that. I absolutely backed myself on it. I felt that I had the experience in health and also the business knowledge to be able to do it. I thought it might come a bit quicker than it did, but look, I think that's fairly normal for someone who starts a business. And there was never a fear of failure. I always just backed myself in that, yes, I was going to do it.
So 2015 was when you started. How did you get your first client? Is that what you call them, or is?
Well, a combination really, client, patient. I started Pop-Up Health in 2012, and we got our first patient in 2015. Someone who I knew just rang me and said, "Could you come and shower my uncle?" And I thought, I'm a nurse, I can do that. Went down there, gave him a shower, and that went on for a couple of days. And then the neighbour came in and said, "Oh, can you come and take my father to a doctor's appointment?" I thought, I can do that. So then I hired a nurse and went from there, and we ended up doing providing care in that street for all of the residents in that street, really. And we just kept hiring nurses, and it went from there.
So is that how predominantly you got your clients? Through word of mouth?
It was at the start, yes. We did no marketing. Our marketing was from our nurses. So I still firmly believe in that if the staff are happy and the nurses are happy, then they will be your best marketers. And they are. They talk to our clients about everything that we do. And if they provide really good care, then the clients will themselves talk to their family and friends.
Yep. So we talked about, obviously, you became an NDIS provider, and that was in 2018?
2018.
Yeah.
We became an NDIS provider, and in 2019 we became a aged care provider for home care packages and Commonwealth home support. And that was an exciting time because it sort of broadened our scope of who we could provide care for in their own homes.
So during that growth, obviously your first, because let's be honest, Jane could not be Pop-Up Health on your own because you only got so much capacity. So you started to recruit, but you just mentioned off camera that in one point you recruited 100 people in a weekend. Now, the onboarding of that just scares me, to be really honest. And, that bringing them into your organization, are they the right fit, the right culture? How did you navigate that?
So that was a period at the beginning of COVID, and we had exponential growth in that period. And I put together a team around me of HR and recruitment personnel who were hard workers, and we set up a system. We knew this was coming. We had about a week's notice, and we set up a system and we tested that system. And then we just all worked together really solidly. And yes, it was challenging, but we actually worked normal hours during that period.
That was not what I was expecting you to say.
No, we did, but we just had the right system and got all their clearances, documents, met everyone face to face. And it was the system and the people that helped it to be really successful.
And interestingly, the recruitment base that you're talking about, you've got a referral system within your employee base. There was that, never mind word of mouth from a client perspective, there was a word of mouth from an employee perspective, which sounds like that was part of your success.
It was.
As well.
I think because, and I go back to workplace culture here, if you've got a good culture and the staff member enjoys working, then they will recommend it to their friend or their colleagues, and then it goes on from there. So I think we do celebrate our successes. I think that's really important. Even if it's a little success, it's worth celebrating. We actually if we have a success in the office, then we have a bell, and anyone is entitled to go and pick up that bell and ring it and walk around the office. And then we all stop and talk about whatever the success was. And
so really good sharing of those wins across the team.
Yeah, it's important.
Because it isn't an individual win.
No.
It is a team win. So to share that.
Yeah, there are no individual wins. It's always involving, more than two people.
Yeah. And you said it was a family affair initially for those first 3 years.
Yeah.
And now do all your families, so what you said, you've got yourself, husband joined the business, eldest daughter.
Yes, youngest daughter and my son is involved. So yeah, we're all still in there. Not all full time.
No.
But yeah, all have it. They all touch the business. And there's a few other extended family in there. And look, it's challenging having a family business. It's challenging running a family business. It's not all roses. But we all bring something to the business, in one way or another. Our 3 children have all gone off and, worked in their own areas, of their areas of expertise or something different. And then they've had that opportunity to experience that and then come into the business, which I think they all brought in skills that we didn't have. And yeah, it's been interesting and good.
So do you switch off at the family dinner?
So we used to have a rule where we didn't talk work. And my husband and I at home do not talk work after 7:00. At night, so that we do have that time. But that took a lot of discipline to do that. Yeah. In the early years, we were still working till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes, and no, generally we don't talk work a lot when we're together as a family. No.
Good. So how did you, in the early days, though, because you said you didn't get your first office until the business was 3-4 years old. So how did you actually manage that? A lot of our listeners are, they haven't got the office, they're not in a position as a startup to go into that overheads and incurring those kind of costs. So what kind of disciplines then can they have around home life and work? Because it is a passion.
Yes.
And I have this thing that if you're passionate about something, it doesn't really feel like work and you can throw the hours in. But how did you manage that?
You still have to have that balance. And like I said, we don't talk work after 7:00 at night. And that was something that we brought in a while ago, because otherwise it just takes over your life and you don't get enough rest. And I think that discipline, you've got to be really strict with yourself about that. Otherwise you just become exhausted and burnt out and you do lose the passion. Yeah. And so, you've just got to make sure that you do other things in life to occupy that time.
So I'm assuming that you did get to the height of 500 staff.
Yes.
Was that during COVID?
Yes.
Aged care was such a vulnerable part of the community and society during that time. How did you navigate that? Not necessarily also caring for your clients, but also the fact that your employees must have been so transient at that time in being available. I experienced elements of that. And, I've got friends in nursing as well where, they were supposed to rock up for a shift, but all of a sudden they can't because they've got COVID. And how did you?
It was a challenging time. We did not have any work from home during that period.
You're essential service as well.
We are. And so, and all of our nurses were out on the road. We were really full on in the COVID world during that period in South Australia. So we had, during COVID, we did get up to 600 staff. And of that, we had to ensure that we had backup staff. So we had Team A and Team B, so that we had a system and a strategy to do that.
I'm feeling a bit of a theme here with these
systems. I know the system. It's just so important to be able to run your business and to maintain services. And also for our patients at home, often we were the only person that they saw all day. And so it was really important to them that we maintained that sense of contact. And some of the valuable stories that we had from that were just incredible and really warm the cockles of your heart to be able to hear that you are the only person that they're seeing. And that was really important, but also for our staff. Sometimes we were the only contact they had, especially for some of the single nurses. They would not be able to see their friends or their families, but they could come to work. And we had defined areas where they could go and things like that. And it was a rewarding time. It was a tough time, but we all learnt a lot and we actually got to know each other really well. And
it's very bonding. It's really weird. It's like you get this bonding experience that, because you're all in it for one purpose.
Yeah.
And
no, it was challenging, but it was a great time. Yeah.
Do you look back and feel that it was a little bit surreal?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Some of the practices that we had really in the early days of COVID were now are outdated and you wouldn't do it.
No.
But during those times, they were the guidelines that we had and the evidence, and everything we do is evidence-based, but we still had to follow those rules then. And we had nurses all around the country who were quarantined for 2 weeks at a time and managing that and their families. And
So you also operating nationally?
we had some national work that we did.
Right.
And nurses.
Because then you had to negotiate the borders
Yes.
and all the different. Oh,
Yes, and we quickly brought nurses back into SA so that we could manage it much better that way. But yeah, we did end up with, at one stage, we had 14 nurses in quarantine for 2 weeks at a time, and they went to work in the morning and they didn't go home for 14 days. It was really tough. So we were working with their families and their children and partners and things like that. And some of them didn't even have a phone charger with them and things like that. So that was one of the biggest challenges, was managing the people, the mental health, which is still ongoing, but we managed it as best we could. And the rewards are still there because those people are still with us.
yeah. So you've got that longevity that we talked about. So that was the height. What is Pop-Up Health currently operating at now?
So we've had a period post-COVID where we've had to look at our efficiencies, and a lot of that COVID work isn't there anymore, clearly. The disease isn't as rampant as it was at the time. And so we've looked at all of our what we were doing at the time and afterwards, put in a lot more efficiencies, and we're down to about 340 staff now. And we are much leaner than we were, and we do a lot more different activities within nursing. But we still have the same workplace culture. We still celebrate our successes, and that's where we're at now. We're looking at lots of different angles. So we've probably got about 15 different income streams.
So you're diversifying as well?
Yes. And I really like that. I'm really enjoy looking for gaps in service delivery or just little places where else can a nurse work? And we go from there.
So where did the Lumiere Care Network opportunity present itself?
We were contemplating putting the business on the market and you always do for a couple of years before you do. So we spent some time just thinking about that and went to market, and Lumiere Care came along, and we did spend probably about 5 or 6 months in due diligence, with them doing due diligence with us and us doing it likewise on them in the early part of 2024, and very quickly realised that we had a lot of synergies with both companies. Lumiere Care is an organisation that's only been around for about two and a half years, and it came together as a company that acquired 10 to 12 nurse-founded and nurse-led businesses around the country.
So that's very much a cultural fit straight away.
Absolutely. And my initial meetings with them were a really easy, comfortable fit. And we've come together, and it's exciting because even as CEO of Pop-Up Health, which I still am, and will be for a little while yet, it's nice to have peers in that role who are nurses and CEOs of the other businesses. So you're not on your own anymore? No. And there's so many things as a CEO that you can't discuss with other people in the business.
You're very lonely sometimes.
Absolutely.
That's probably a benefit from the family side as well.
Yeah, we can talk about things. So Lumiere Care have provided that support, and and they've allowed us to have a national offering now. So we're part of a bigger group, and we're slowly integrating. There haven't been huge changes as yet.
But they take time.
Absolutely.
I think, people think like a merger and acquisition, it's the done deal and then it's done. It's actually the work post, which can take 2 years to actually happen and finalise, to have that full-on integration. We've had quite a few guests on that have gone through that process.
Yeah.
But continuity with you as CEO is important. It's important for your staff as well, and for job security, and also for your clients.
Yeah, and I think that's an exciting phase for us that we're going through now, is the integration phase. Everyone's still working there.
Yeah.
There's lots more opportunities, a lot of opportunities. And I think for us, we're learning a lot from Lumiere as to how the other 10 or 11 businesses have worked.
Yeah.
So we've picked up some of you take the good from things, but they've also picked up some good from us. So it's actually been a really mutually beneficial partnership that we've come into. So, yeah, it's an exciting phase we're going through. We bounce along with the ball.
So if I've got any nurses out there or people wanting employment, how would they find you?
Jump onto our website, popuphealth.com.au, or onto Lumiere Care. Just have a look on there and you'll see all the vacancies we have. And if you've got a unique skill as a nurse, then send us an email.
Yeah.
Very
and
happy.
obviously if some people, we had a guest on previously, who was talking about that, difficult time of being perimenopausal, and they're looking after teenagers as well as aged parents. How can someone contact you? Is it the same website if they've got somebody to reach out for?
So
for care as well?
If you have older parents who are going through, navigating the aged care system is a real challenge these days, and the disability programs that are out there. So I would suggest, and for veterans as well, so we look after veterans, I would suggest just jumping onto our website and you can see all the services that we provide, and just send us an email, or there'll be there's a contact form there and a referral form. So yeah, very happy to have a chat. We have teams that provide navigation for aged care and disability, and that
point of contact.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're very personable. So there will be a call within 24, 48 hours so that we can help you go on that journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Jane. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on The Glass Ceiling, and congratulations on all the success of Pop-Up Health.
Thank you very much.
Tuning in to this episode of The Glass Ceiling. If you've liked what you heard, please subscribe, as we'd love to have you as part of our community. We're grateful to our guests for sharing their inspiring stories and insights with us. This podcast was brought to you by Wavebreaker. Join us next time as we shatter the glass ceiling, one story at a time.